Hello and welcome to Cybersecurity Awareness TV, episode number 417, recorded January 14th, 2023. My name is Mack Jackson Jr. and I am your cybersecurity professional and researcher, here providing you cybersecurity tips you could use to protect yourself and your business from the fastest growing crimes of the 21st century. I would like to thank all of our guests and everyone who's been supporting our show over the years here on Cybersecurity Awareness TV. And if you'd like to find out more information about my show and what we do, you could find me at Mack Jackson Jr. That's MackJacksonJR.com on the internet. And we're on all social medias as well. You can find me by looking for my name, Mack Jackson Jr. Remember to share, like, and subscribe, and hit that notification button to you be up to date on all of the new information on cybersecurity awareness. By the way, we're also on the Roku network under the WWDB TV network, folks. You can support us as well by becoming part of our Patreon channel at patreon.com/MackJacksonJr. Folks, in today's episodes, we're going to discuss what has been going on with the air traffic that's been happening across our nation over the last couple of weeks. The FAA have shut down several flights for one day for several hours, causing a whole cancellation across the entire country. What was this caused by? Was it a malfunction? We'll discuss that. In our second segment, we'll discuss the FBI warnings against scammers that are trying every day to find ways to exploit and steal your hard-earned money, folks. We'll talk about these scams and what you can do to protect yourself. And in our third segment, we always talk about business tips you can do to secure your business and become more productive. In our first segment, folks, this week there was a computer problem that the FAA caused a nationwide shutdown of the airports. According to the White House, they're stating that it wasn't a cyber attack. However, senior representatives of the air safety investigators NTSB says that the warning that it is premature right now to say if it was a cyber attack or not. They're not sure if it was, but it did affect the electrical grid of the system of the airlines, and therefore they had to cancel lots of flights across our country here in the U.S. However, on a secondary note, in Canada, they also had a couple of hours of shutdown as well for their airlines. Not sure what is causing it. It's definitely something that we should be concerned about, but this is not the first time this has happened, folks. 4 months ago, we had an incident as well with airlines like Southwest Airlines and others that had a shutdown and cancellation of their flights also. So this is causing definitely a concern. And during the week, there was the Southwest Airlines that canceled several of their flights. Was it the weather? Was it a flaw in the systems, in the flight design? Not sure. Investigation is still studying it. We need to find out more about this, and we will keep you informed as well, folks. But here's our first story to report to you from News Nation.
All right, to give us more insight on this ground stop is Greg Feith, a former senior air safety investigator with the NTSB. Greg, thank you so much for your time. So we keep hearing this word glitch. Is there any more information as to what a specific cause could actually be?
They have not come out with a specific definition of that glitch. It could encompass a number of things, whether it is software related and or hardware related. We won't really know until they start to release more information. The fact is that whatever this quote glitch was, had a significant and substantial impact that didn't last just minutes. It lasted hours, and it started in last night.
You know, and a lot of people saw what happened here. You know, they woke up to this news, immediately thought hacked. How do we know that that's not actually what happened here?
Well, we won't really know until they get into the investigative mode right now. They are talking about cyber attacks. That's always a possibility, and I think that's still on the table. It may be a little premature to rule that out, given some of the concerns we've had with other modes of transportation and some of the electrical grid. So they're going to have to do a very in-depth study of not only the software, but the hardware and the vulnerabilities of that system. And like you said in the report, it has been characterized as antiquated. Well, does that produce vulnerabilities in this system that's supposed to be very robust for pilots?
You know, and Greg, as you just said, I mean, being referred to as antiquated, outdated, was this inevitable?
We know that the system, like any other of the air traffic control systems, en route radar and weather radar that's being used in facilities, has over the last 20, 25 years been outdated and progressively being updated. But it's funding, and it's all about what the FAA can and can't do, not only with monetary resources, but of course, manpower resources. And I think if Congress, is going to pick up and do some hearings, these are the kinds of in-depth questions that need to be asked, especially for a reauthorization, because the FAA is going to be dependent on some money to upgrade all of these systems.
Well, absolutely. So, Greg, last question for you. You know, today there is this. Just a few weeks ago, we saw the mess with Southwest Airlines. How concerned should U.S. travelers really be?
The fortunate thing about our air traffic control system here in the United States is that we have the best system in the world. We handle the most aircraft at any one time, more than the rest of the world. And so when you look at the density and the number of flights and how safe our air traffic system is, that should instill confidence. Yes, you're going to have some of these problems. Now with Southwest, that was an individual airline issue. But when you have a national system outage like this, or the system outage that we had down in Florida a couple of weeks ago, it does give people and should give the flying public pause, but it is that flying public who supports the mission and of course, with tax dollars, the money that goes to the FAA for upgrading all of these systems. And we have to also include aerospace, because aerospace is going to be controlled predominantly by the FAA. So they need monetary resources and manpower resources to have a robust system going forward.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.
Very interesting, folks. Our story continues with another report regarding Southwest Airlines regarding their flight cancellations. We'd like to share that with you now as well.
As most airlines rebound, tonight the travel nightmare for Southwest passengers presses on.
They told us that the flight was canceled.
Making up nearly 90% of today's cancellations, Southwest nixing another 2,500 flights. That's on top of the more than 11,000 already canceled in the last week.
I really hope they figure out whatever the problems are and get back on track.
So what's keeping one of the country's largest carriers from bouncing back? Industry experts blame a trifecta of bad weather, the airline's outdated scheduling system, and its lower cost point-to-point flight design, which sends planes from one destination to the next and so on, instead of the popular hub-and-spoke system, connecting passengers and crews through a central point.
In a point-to-point system like in Southwest, you can see a real domino effect of cancellations, where if one flight gets canceled, it puts a lot of future flights that plane and pilot and crew were supposed to operate at risk.
The airport Armageddon, no surprise to the Southwest Airlines Pilots Association.
We've been warning of this for over 5 years. The last 2 years, we've seen more meltdowns. They've been more severe.
The Senate's Transportation Committee promising today to investigate the causes of Southwest flight cancellations and their cascading effects seen in the scores of unclaimed suitcases from Dallas and St. Louis to Chicago and Baltimore, where a viewer fetched his luggage after spotting it during a report from NBC's Shamari Stone.
It was supposed to be in Denver. I was in D.C., so I drove up, found my bag.
Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg telling Tom this week the continued mayhem is Southwest's direct responsibility.
They told me in their words that they will go above and beyond their written customer service plan. I'm going to be holding them accountable for doing that.
Does that mean financial compensation?
Absolutely.
Please also hear that I'm truly sorry.
Southwest CEO apologizing to the airline's employees and customers. Today, rolling out a new website for travelers to submit requests for any refunds. Compensation, experts say, could cost the airline hundreds of millions of dollars. But for some passengers, it may be too little, too late.
We need to be compensated bigger than just us, our flights.
It makes me second guess flying Southwest or ever checking the bag again.
All right, Emily Aketa joins us now live from Chicago's O'Hare Airport. Emily, we're learning tonight other airlines may be offering some relief to stranded travelers.
Tom, that's right. American, United, and Delta all announcing they are capping fares in markets where Southwest operates in to help get stranded passengers home. Meantime, Southwest hoping to get things back on track before next week.
Folks, these instances of flight cancellations across the country has been very, very devastating for passengers that are trying to get to work, visit family and friends, and it's definitely investigations of this needs to be determined if it was weather-related, computer design, or something else that caused this. We will keep you informed about this type of situation and how we can protect ourselves or how we can motivate our congressmen or people at these airlines to make sure that they are protecting our infrastructure, especially when it comes to the breakdown of our airlines and what kind of problems cause these grounding of these flights nationwide. Our last story we'd like to continue with this is from a story from Fox 4 Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas. Here's a report.
Flight delays and cancellations are still unwinding this evening from a nationwide shutdown of air traffic that happened overnight and into this morning. Hello, I'm Steve Eager.
Hello, everybody. I'm Heather Hayes. The FAA issued that ground stop after a flight safety system failed. The transportation secretary says he does not believe it was a cyber attack, but the investigation will look at all possibilities. For some passengers who traveled over the holidays, this is a case of here we go again. Fox 4's Alex Boyer joins us with more now on what happened. Alex.
Yeah, that's right, guys. As you very well know, it was just a few weeks ago where tens of thousands of passengers were stranded at airports across the country due to a Southwest Airlines software meltdown. This time, it appears the FAA is to blame, grounding flights all across the nation. You know, I spoke to a retired aeronautical science professor who says the FAA's software is outdated. It was a chaotic scene at airports across the country Wednesday morning.
We just got a notification that it's been delayed and the FFA is the system's down.
The Federal Aviation Administration temporarily grounded all flights across North America beginning Tuesday night due to a system-wide software glitch.
Same case as everyone. I was in the line to get through the gates, and I just got a notification that my flight got canceled.
The FAA said its notices to air missions or NOTAM system failed.
It's an essential part of flight planning.
Brent Bowen is a retired aeronautical science professor and the founder of the National Airline Quality Rating. Bowen says the NOTAM system relays important time-sensitive information to pilots and airports.
With information such as runway closures, instrument landing systems being down to a technical function. If a runway closes overnight due to, say, severe icing and the airport can't get it back open, they put one of these notices into the system.
With the NOTAM system down, none of that crucial up-to-date information is available for pilots and airports to make flight plans, hence the grounding.
There's no way around it, especially for a commercial airline flight that has to file a required flight plan.
Bowen says the U.S. is divided into 21 separate air traffic control centers. He believes this is the first time since 9/11 that all flights have been ordered grounded at once.
The FAA has failed in technology. The FAA is one federal agency that's known to be the slowest in putting out technology.
Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg said the system does receive regular technology updates, but he acknowledged it is a single point of failure, and part of the investigation will look at redundancies and backups. And as the investigation gets underway, stranded passengers are left in limbo.
We have to rebook you till tomorrow. Sorry.
Oh, I'm being proactive and coming here early to check out all my options to get home.
And the Transportation Secretary says the Department of Transportation is investigating. You know, Dr. Bowen believes that Congress is partly to blame. He says that lawmakers are going to want and demand modern, safe technology, but then does not provide adequate funding to the FAA to be able to deploy that new technology in a timely manner.
Folks, criminals will always find a way to try to steal your information and find your vulnerabilities. Are we going through that right now with the airline industry? The jury's still out. Investigations will show here, hopefully very, very soon. And if they do find any vulnerabilities in our infrastructure of our airport, we hope our Congress will do something about it. Our Congress and Senate would pass laws or funding needed to strengthen our airlines. It's very, very important, folks, to do that. Remember, folks, regarding yourself, that you must protect yourself from these types of threats, of cyber crimes that are out there. And if you'd like to find out more about these types of stories relating to how to protect your business, look at my blog that I have. I have stories that you can find on my blog report under MackJacksonJR.com. It's MackJacksonJR.com. Folks, stay informed. That's why we need to do it here. We'll be right back after these messages. Hello, folks. This is Mack Jackson Jr. from Vanderson Cyber Group. The problem with businesses today is that they are affected by cyber attacks from around the world, but companies are not sure of what to do. Normally, they are reactive instead of proactive. But folks, cyber attacks can affect your bottom line, and it will affect you financially, legally, and your business reputation. Here at Vanderson Cyber Group, we can help you develop a policy by training your employees on what to do if they are involved in a cyber attack and how to mitigate it and fight against it. Folks, we call it here #StayCyberWoke. And that's Vanderson Cyber Group here in Las Vegas and around the world. You can reach me, folks, at VandersonCyberGroup.com or my website, MackJacksonJr.com as well. Here locally, 702-868-0808. Give us a call today, folks. We must fight back. Hi, folks. Welcome back to Cybersecurity Awareness TV. I'm your host, Mack Jackson Jr. In this segment, we're talking about the FBI warnings for consumer scams. These consumer scam, folks, are ways that hackers are always trying the way to find your data and steal from you. You know, I mean, we try every day to use technology for convenience and protection of our lifestyle in our society, but hackers take this technology and they look for ways that they could take advantage of people, especially unsuspecting people, of these type of attacks. In this episode, we're talking about Amazon scams. Yeah, folks, Amazon scams are on the rise, especially in 2023. FBI and other cybersecurity experts like myself have stated that these attacks will increase by these types of scammers using all types of hacking techniques like social engineering, trying to convince the end users to hand over their personal information. This particular cyber attack that I'm reporting on now relates to verifying your personal banking information regarding an Amazon payment. These are fake, folks, and there's a way that you can tell by the emails that you get. But I want you also to think about this, folks. In this next clip I'm going to show you, it shows you the way that these scammers are using fake emails stating they're from Amazon to get your information. But because of shows like this and news reports, scammers are also changing their techniques or making their emails look more believable. So what you're going to see, folks, is an example of a fake email from a scammer representing Amazon. But I'm sure as they see this broadcast, they're going to change the way that they do their information, have it totally different. So definitely stay informed. Our story continues with a report from CBS News 17.
As the largest e-commerce retailer in the world, Amazon, as you can imagine, is the target of all sorts of scams and several variations of those scams hitting our area.
Consumer investigator Steve Frazier shows us how the scams work and tells you how to avoid being victimized.
The first scam involves an email supposedly from Amazon claiming your payment couldn't be processed and it needs you to verify your personal and payment information.
And the more that these hackers know, the more damage that they can do in terms of hijacking your identity.
This is a phishing scam. Here are two tip-offs. Look at the name in the email. Amazon is spelled wrong, Amazon. It's missing the second A. And if you hover your cursor over the URL, you can see the real sender is not Amazon.com, but a hijacked email address. You never know who's at the other end of that screen, and scammers count on that to trick you.
And the hackers are really looking at the low-hanging fruit, what's easy.
And what's easy is to send out thousands of these fake texts at random, telling the recipient their Amazon account has been locked and you need to give up some private information to get it back.
No online retailer is going to need to know your birthday, your social security number to do business.
If you're told your Amazon account is locked, you should call Amazon directly to verify that your account is okay and not compromised. And if you get one of these out of the blue, be wary. It's an OTP or one-time password text. That means that someone is trying to access your account and has used the forgot password feature to get a one-time password, but it went to you, not the scammer. And if you get an OTP text with a link, that is a fraud generated by scammers who are phishing and looking to make a rapid score.
These guys work fast, don't they?
Yeah, they'll move very quickly. Once they have your information, they'll try to look at all of your other accounts.
Last year, Amazon says it initiated takedowns of 20,000 phishing websites using its name, as well as 10,000 fake phone numbers used by Amazon impersonators, which shows you how big the problem is. Working for you, I'm consumer investigator Steve Sprazier.
Folks, here on Cybersecurity Awareness TV, we discuss how scammers for 2023 look for vulnerabilities from consumers and how to steal your money, right? One of the scams that we talked about in our previous clip here was from the Amazon. Another one that we'd like to tell you about are the fake scams and emails that you will receive from barcodes or QR codes in restaurants and shopping establishments. These type of scams are used to try to deceive you that the information that you're looking at is true and reliable, and they're not. Another scam the FBI warns consumers to look for out there in the consumer shopping world are the fake gift cards. These are gift cards, folks, that scammers would take. They will take a legitimate gift card, for example, a legitimate gift card, and they will change the actual barcode that's on the gift card or the QR code that's listed on a gift card and have the monies directed to the scammer's account. That's right, folks. You're thinking that the gift card that you have purchased for someone is for your person you're giving it, your recipient. But folks, these scammers are being very sophisticated and they are reprinting the actual barcode label or reprinting the QR code. Things that we've talked about on this show last year as well. Definitely stay abreast of these types of scams. Another one that's going on for 2023 are the increase in fake student loan forgiveness programs, right? You get a phone call stating that the government has forgiven your student loan. They want you to hand over the information about yourself, where they're asking for personal information. Folks, if this will never happen from any of organizations representing the federal government and any programs for the student loan forgiveness. Right now, it's under legislation and in the courts right now. But when that is being adjudicated and redressed, hopefully we'll have legitimate student loan forgiveness set up for our students. The FBI also looks at another vulnerability here, folks, and this is a scam that I really want you guys to tell your friends about and stay aware of. It's called virtual kidnapping. That's right, folks. Think about that for a second. Virtual kidnapping. What does that mean? In this particular scam, the scammers will call on a home, predominantly a parent with a student that's perhaps overseas or a divorced father, for example. And they'll call and they're saying that they have their child kidnapped. And they'll say, we need to have money sent, either Bitcoin, and here's the Bitcoin number, you need to send it to the account you need to send the money to. And they have the person in the background screaming and crying, stating the parent's name. And they're saying they need to have it right now. They want you to get on the computer at this particular moment and transfer the funds or something will happen to your child. Folks, the scam is absolutely incredible. I've heard one of the videotapes, audio tapes that is, of this particular threat, and it is very, very disturbing. The FBI definitely warns that these are fake calls, folks. These hackers would randomly call people, again, the elderly, especially grandparents, or a divorced parent, to try to coerce the victim to hand over funds, usually in Bitcoin. And folks, again, like I said, this is done by fake voice. Now, you may ask, how do these fake voices happen? Well, using technology, folks. There are AI programs, artificial intelligence, that can take someone's voice and mimic it and dub it over text to speech. So where it sounds very legitimate. Thereby, when the parent or the victim hears the voice of their child or some of their loved ones, it sounds legitimate and it sounds real. So definitely, by telling you this on the show here, folks, we want you to stay abreast of these type of attacks and tell someone that you know, that you've heard about this particular type of scam, and to be aware of it. Definitely stay aware of it. Do not jump immediately and send money to these organizations. You're not sure if they're legitimate or not. Contact the police immediately. And if you have caller ID on your phone and you have a phone number where this call came through on your phone, make sure you give this phone number on your phone to law enforcement and let them know of this types of scam, folks. To continue this story, I want to you guys to check out this report we have from WREG Channel 3 News.
Turning to consumer news this morning, a new year means new ways for crooks to try to steal your money, and we have a major scam alert for parents, particularly those that may not live in the same house. In fact, it's one of the top 3 scams experts expect to emerge in 2023. Let's start with number 3, tampered gift cards. So this is right on time if you bought or received one for the holidays. According to the Better Business Bureau, these are now printing their own barcodes and placing them over the real ones. That means the money loaded onto the gift card goes into the scammer's account instead of onto the card. To spot a fake, check for damaged packaging, get your gift card from the back of the pile, and be sure to get a gift receipt. Number 2, student loan scam. So crooks are taking advantage of all the confusion over the president's student loan forgiveness plan. Scammers are calling people claiming to be able to help them get rid of their debt for a fee, of course. Some are even using supposed Joe Biden robocalls. The real forgiveness plan is still being sorted out in court, so ignore any calls from anyone claiming they're with the government and saying they can eliminate your debt. And the number 1 scam to watch out for in 2023, virtual kidnapping.
And this one can be really, really scary. Essentially, you get a phone call from somebody, and all you hear on the other end of the call is, "Mommy, Daddy, help me!" And it's a screaming sound. And eventually, you'll get around to some scary-sounding person on the phone will tell you everything that they're going to do to your children if you don't pay them immediately by Bitcoin or by some other form of payment.
Daniel Irwin of the Better Business Bureau of the Mid-South says the FBI even recently issued an alert about this when the scammers, so they're foreign prisoners, just cold calling Americans hoping they'll find someone with kids. They're also banking on the parents saying their child's name to sort of play on their emotions. So if you get a call and hear that commotion and screaming in the background, that's one red flag. Another is the fact that they're asking for cryptocurrency as payment. Irwin says our local BBB got 8 reports of virtual kidnapping last year and expect to get more in 2023. He says one particular group of parents, especially dads, seem to fall for this.
And actually, when we crunch the data nationwide, who this affects the most is divorced parents. Now, they're not targeting divorced parents because, again, they have no real way of knowing who's divorced and who's not. They're cold calling Americans. But it can be devastating, especially divorced fathers who may not necessarily know where their kids are, at every single moment, or may live out of state.
Wow, Irwin says they've actually heard one of these calls themselves, and it is truly terrifying. You can always report scams to the BBB by using their scam tracker system. You can find that. We're going to post this story and some more details about scams to avoid this year, protecting you and your family. Just go to our website, WREG.com, for the latest.
Folks, as a cybersecurity professional, we provide businesses and individuals with education and training on how to mitigate cyber crimes that could affect their business or their family. Regarding fake emails, phishing attacks, and fake text messaging that you will get from your phone as well, folks. These hackers are always looking for ways to get your money, to get your personal data and personal information. We say on this show and in our industry of cybersecurity, think before you click, folks. Just take a second before you click on this link to think about, is this link something that you anticipated? Is this email someone that you do know? If you do not know of the person and you cannot vet them, try calling them by using your other means, not from their email. And better yet, if it's in your office, walk down to their office, knock on the door and ask them that they send you this particular email. It may take another step, folks, but these are things we have to do now until we can have a stronger defense system to protect our technology from these types of cyber thieves that are trying to change the way that we conduct ourselves in a democratic society. Folks, remember, hashtag Stay Cyber Alert this year. We'll be back after these messages.
Hey everybody, I am Aaron Phillips. You are?
I'm Governor Val Brown Klingelhofer.
And we host what kind of show?
We host the most fabulous show on this network you've ever seen. It's all about Kiwanis and what's going on in our different cities.
And Kiwanis Connects is the title, and you can watch us every Friday morning, 9 to 10 a.m. Pacific time, right on Facebook or WWDB-TV. Say goodbye.
Bye, everybody. Aloha.
Hi folks, welcome back to Cybersecurity Awareness TV. I'm your host, Mack Jackson Jr. In this segment, we call the business tips that can help improve the productivity and security of your organization. Folks, in this episode today, we talked about types of scams and things that possibly going on with the airline industry. But what can you do to protect yourselves from these types of cyber attacks and others? Well, folks, one of the ways that we talked about ways to protect yourself is by starting with your password. We talked about having a strong password. Over the last couple of weeks, we mentioned on this show and discussed for you within my blogs about having a strong password, something that's longer than 12 characters long. Use a passphrase. That's right, folks, a passphrase. This could be a simple English sentence, something about your motivation, something about your family, your beliefs, something you would understand and will make it harder for hackers to break into your system. If you'd like to find out more information about how long it will take to have your password cracked by hackers, contact me at mjackson@mjcc.com and I will send you one of my reports, one of my white papers that discusses how fast your password can be cracked and how and why it's important to have a long password. So for this week, folks, there's things like that we want you to remember, but also if you have a company and a business and you wish to make sure that your employees that are working for you are trained and educated in proper cybersecurity principles and procedures, definitely have them contact my company, Vanderson Cyber Group. That's vandersoncybergroup.com for cybersecurity training. One of the training programs that we offer is phishing simulation, where we would offer phishing simulation tests for your employees. This is a way that will make sure your employees will think before they click on an icon or an email or a text message that they receive, and then provide additional training for them to understand what type of emails look for that could be fake, what types of SMS text messages are fake, and other types of cybersecurity, social engineering techniques and tactics that hackers use on the phone. They're even that brazen, folks. They will call your company pretending to be someone that they're not in order to get valuable information about your organization, your business. If you'd like to have your employees trained on our program, folks, I'll tell you it's a top-notch program that's recognized by the federal government using the frameworks of NIST and other government frameworks, folks, to mitigate the damage of cybercrimes. Definitely contact my company, Vanderson Cyber Group. Well, folks, that's all we have this week. We'll have a lot more for you next week, folks. We want you to hashtag Stay Cyber Alert for 2023. And remember, folks, my name is Mack Jackson, cybersecurity consultant for Cybersecurity Awareness TV. See you next week, folks.